Hi guys, DFS time. This is the lineup show. I appreciate you watching. Um, I am going over the matchups right now for tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers, and I don't like any of it. I, I don't. I feel like these are two good teams. And it should be fun to watch for a football game, but I do not like um, the fantasy matchups here as far as DFS goes. So I guess we'll just start with Jalen Hurts. He's averaging 22.3 fantasy points a game. The Packers are 8th against the quarterback, 11th against the pass. They got Micah Parsons now, who's really just helped their defense a lot. I expect Jalen Hurts to get points. I don't know how much I expect him to get. I'm probably am not going to play him here, which I don't like not playing him, but I just don't love the matchup at all. And I feel like the Eagles, as of late, have not been the Eagles that we're used to. Even though they've only lost 2 games this year, one of which was to my Broncos, keep in mind. I just had to throw that in there. We also have Saquon Barkley, and the Packers are 6th against the running back, 2nd against the rush, and he has only averaged 16.4 fantasy points a game. Last week, however, he got 36.4 fantasy points, which was the most all year. He hasn't even had 20 points in any other game. That's the first big game he's had. I don't like him here, just because of that. Except I don't see the Eagles having any matchups that I love other than Goddard. So I feel like they might have to rely heavily on Saquon Barkley. I just don't know that he's going to be able to come through enough in this game for him. But I do like Josh Jacobs here. He's averaged 19.6 fantasy points a game. And the Eagles are 22nd against the running back, 19th against the rush. I think I might like him as captain even today. It's going to be either him or Jordan Love, I think, at captain for me. But I don't love Jordan Love's matchup either. No pun intended. The Eagles are 16th against the quarterback, 17th against the pass. And he's only averaging 18.7 fantasy points a game. Week 8, he had a big game against Pittsburgh. Week 4, he had a big game. Other than that, I'd say he's just played decent. Fantasy-wise. I think I'm going to go ahead and make Josh Jacobs my captain right now. I think I'm going to throw Jordan Love in there. And then from here, guys, it's kind of a question mark as far as these receivers. I think any of them could be good picks. Let's just throw Goddard in there first. The Packers are 24th against the tight end, 11th against the pass, and that's why I think they'll have to rely on him a little bit more maybe in this game. So we'll throw him in. And then we'll look at A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith's matchups. Green Bay is 15th against the wide receiver, 11th against the pass. And as he can, the matchup between Barkley wasn't so great, so I feel like they're going to have to pass in this game. I just don't know how much success I see them having. Let's look at targets, though, to help break this down a little bit as well. So A.J. Brown had 6 targets in Week 7, 9 targets in Week 6, 8 targets in Week 5. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I think of A.J. Brown in this game. He had Devontae Smith had 9 targets in Week 8, 11 in Week 7, and 5 in Week 6, 10 in Week 5. I think I kind of like Devontae Smith better this year. He's averaged more fantasy points. So I guess if I was to pick one of the two, I would go with Devontae Smith. Uh, but I also like Brown. I don't. I'm not going to argue against either one of them, but the matchups I don't necessarily love. But Brown's a big guy, and he can come down with the football. If it's one-on-one, for sure. Romeo Dobbs, I might like better than both of them because I feel like it'll be less competition for him. I feel like he's clearly the best wide receiver on the Packers right now. At least from what we've seen. Watson is back, though. Watson has been playing, and he's done well in at least in other seasons. So we'll look at him here in a second. But Romeo Dobbs is in a spot where the Eagles are 16th against the wide receiver, 17th against the pass. And just because it's not really a competition, I feel like I'd be more inclined to play him. Plus, I'm playing his quarterback. Don't like Miles Golden here. He hasn't done much this year for me to want to pick him. Watson, in 2 games, has averaged 10.2 fantasy points. He's had 4 targets in each game. One of which he caught every single pass thrown his way. The other one, he caught half of them. 0 touchdowns, but he's a good player. I think he would be an okay guy to pick in this. Don't think that I like Jake Elliott in this spot, except matchup wise, it doesn't scream anything. I mean, but he's a kicker, so I don't know that matters all that much. Green Bay is 20th against the kicker, but the Eagles, I think, are probably going to have to kick some field goals in this game because I think their offense could struggle in this game. I really do. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I see happening in this game. McManus, on paper, has the best matchup for a kicker this week. I mean, the Eagles are 32nd, worst in the league against the kicker. He averages 8.8 fantasy points a game. He has had a couple big games for sure, and some decent games. So I think I like McManus here as well. And that's going to leave me with two flex options available here. I don't know that I like either defense. The Packers average 4.9 fantasy points a game. I feel like they were doing better at the beginning of the season. They haven't necessarily been bad, but the Eagles are 9th against the defense. And then you have the Eagles defense playing the Packers, who are 5th against the defense. They average 7 fantasy points a game. I don't hate it. If you guys play defense. I think some sacks are going to be taken in this game, probably on both sides. So I can see why you would do it, but I don't think I want to play either defense personally if I can avoid it. And then, of course, you have Jahan Dotson. Got 11 fantasy points last week, but he hasn't really done much the rest of the year. He just happened to get a touchdown in that game. And you got Heath, Bigsby. Elijah Wilson is probably one I might use down here just as a cheap option. He had 11.7 fantasy points in week 8. 11.1 in week 4. He averages 4.1 game. So I might just throw him in here and then pick a receiver. We could pick any receiver that we want. And you guys let me know in the comments who you would pick. I think I'm just going to go Romeo Dobbs here for fun. But I might change that up. The only receiver I have right now for the Eagles is Goddard, and I don't know that I like that so much. Don't know that I like that at all, actually. Let's just see what happens if... Yeah, if we took Wilson out, the only other option would be Dotson. The Eagles' defense, maybe. I think I would just prefer Wilson there. Um, well, there you have it, guys. There's a lineup for you. I don't think it's pretty. Let me know who you would throw in, which receiver. Um, I might change it up, put Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown in, but these are the guys that I like the most. Besides that, I really don't love any of the matchups, but as usual, I wish you the best tonight, guys. Appreciate you watching. If you want to subscribe, I would love it. If you don't, then that is what it is. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Have a good one.